Hello and welcome to the Superbike Show here on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester and tonight we'll be talking about the Malaysian Grand Prix in MotoGP. Did Jay King get his prediction right? Has he lost money? How much has he lost? And he lost money. So hello, good evening and welcome to the Superbike Show back again here on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. Lewis Ray is here and Jay King also here with us this evening. We are streaming live across all the social medias this evening. Get in touch, have your say and let us know what you thought of the Malaysian Grand Prix MotoGP. That's mostly what we'll be talking about tonight. And also updates on some big breaking news. Well, some breaking news, some updates really, in BSB and Honda, and whether or not definitely Tommy Bridewell is definitely going to Honda or not. Let us know your thoughts on that. Lewis, what's the other big headlines at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment, it was announced last night that Rory Skinner has been replaced next season in Moto2 by Marcos Ramirez. Although Rory Skinner signed the 2-year contract at the start of the year, he's been kicked out mid-contract. And in MotoGP, Anil Bastianini took his first race win in nearly 14 months at the weekend at the Malaysian Grand Prix after a great ride on board the factory Ducati. And as well, MotoGP, they head to Qatar this weekend where the newly crowned Pedro Acosta will be hoping to win once again. Pedro Acosta won after finishing second place at Sepang. And the Moto3 rookie Colin Vyer took his first Grand Prix race win in Malaysia ahead of his teammate who's battling for the championship right now. We'll be discussing what happened in all 3 races, if they were any good or not, and if team orders should be considered. And as well mentioned there in BSB, Tom Neve, he's going to be leaving Honda and not returning next season. Does this potentially open up the door for Tommy Bridewell? We'll also discuss that. And as well, Braden Elliott, he was confirmed to race with Dow Racing in the British Superbikes at the middle of the week as well. And there's also going to be Cade Verway, he's going to be on the Lloyd and Jones BMW in the BSB pathway class. So plenty of news throughout the week. And yeah, some decent racing at the weekend.
There was indeed, yeah. So a lot to talk about. BSB, and I suppose let's start, Jay, with some MotoGP news. And let's just say it right now. We did a big prediction, and I asked you to put some money on who you thought would win MotoGP, and you said it would be Bautista.
Yeah, the guy who come last. Yeah, so
you didn't actually put money on it, though.
Like we kind of spoke before the show. I'm not trying to defend myself here, but something clearly wasn't right for Bautista. I might have been a bit ambitious saying he was going to win, but I think we all expected him to at least get a top 10.
Do better than that, yeah.
Yeah, at least get a top 10, but yeah, something was horrifically not right. I read something saying that he had a crash on his test on his new Superbike, and he was having problems with his neck and he couldn't turn left. So yeah, I don't know. He
couldn't turn his neck left?
Well, he couldn't turn left. I don't know. Like that or that. I have no idea. But yeah, so I've heard a few things saying he was obviously very disappointed himself that he didn't do better. So yeah, it didn't look great for World Superbikes this weekend when the 2 Superbike regulars came, one from last and last. So yeah, my prediction was slightly out. On the good side for me though, when I went on the betting app, Bautista's name wasn't even on the list. So I did save myself a $5, but I had all intentions of putting it on.
So you didn't actually put any money on? Fair enough, okay, whatever. Well, neither did I.
I couldn't help it.
Okay, so anyway, it was an interesting weekend nonetheless. Should we start off in Moto 3? Anyway, let's talk a bit about
that was the
best race of the weekend.
It was the only entertaining race of the weekend.
Yeah, there was. It wasn't a traditional, typical Moto 3 race, but what were the main takeaways, main points for you, Lewis?
Yeah, well, obviously the Dutch rider Colin Vyer winning his first ever Grand Prix by just 66 thousandths of a second. But the most interesting part and the dynamic of the race was the fact he finished in front of his teammate Sasaki. Now Sasaki, second place in the World Championship at the moment. He's had some bad luck recently, to be honest. And, well, he's not too far behind Masia. And Colin Vire is still racing them very, very hard, and now leaving that with 2 rounds remaining in the championship. It's a 13-point gap between Masia and Sasaki. So those 5 points could be incredibly crucial. And on one hand, you would have to almost consider just a little bit team orders for the Husqvarna team. But on the other hand, it's his first opportunity to win his first ever Grand Prix, and he took it with both hands, and he did complete it. So yeah, Masia, 3rd place for him as well. And, well, it was a proper crash fest of a race. 20 riders finished it, and there was a 6-rider pile-up near the start of the race, which had riders like Maria, Ricardo Rossi, Danny Holgado, Forasato, David Alonso, and even Romano Prati. So yeah, it was. And then everyone kind of just piled into each other, and it was not a nice crash at all. Luckily, nobody was hit as well by any incoming bikes. And apart from that crash, there was also Jose Rueda making a pretty bold move at the final corner and coming past Dennis Ontrud, trying to come past Dennis Ontrud, a couple of bikes, and then clattered into the side of him, basically T-boned him and took him out the race. So, yeah, it was a pretty entertaining race. It went from about 8 riders to about 3 riders that could battle for the win at the final lap, with all the crashing and gaps that were forming because of that. And also 2 Brits in the points as well. So what more can you ask for in that term?
Exactly, Jay. Moto3, like you say, probably the best race, most entertaining.
Yeah, but by quite a far bit.
Definitely most incident packs.
Maybe Sasaki might have been a bit more, shall we say, annoyed with Colin Vire. But if we remember, I think it was probably about 4 or 5 rounds back. Sasaki
India.
Pardon?
It was in India.
Was it in India?
Yeah.
Sasaki actually took out Colin Vire. So I think maybe he thought, I can't really be too annoyed with him because, I have made some questionable moves on him before. So, yeah. But Sasaki loves a close second place, doesn't he? I mean, it's all I think Phillip Island was a close second behind Onchu. I think he lost at the German round as well on the last corner to Onchu to come second place. So, yeah, how many... Go on, Lewis, get the stats out. How many second places has Sasaki had this season? It must be...
it's too many anyway.
Must be over.
I'll have a quick look while we...
Moto3, good race. I think the group would have been bigger if we hadn't had all those incidents. I think Alonso, after the high side he also had in qualifying, was riding a really good race up until that point. So until he crashed again with pretty much another high side. So and then and a thrilling race, shall we say?
7 second places for Sasaki this year.
Wow. So he has won a Moto3 race, hasn't he?
Well, not this season, but he's won twice last year, Austria and Assen as well. So, yeah, his only wins in Moto3.
He does go well at Qatar, because I do remember last season, or it might have been the season before that.
Yeah, no, it was last season, yeah.
He had a massive, no one gets a big lead in Moto3 at Qatar, but he managed to get a really big lead, and then he high-sided and broke. He didn't crash, but he broke his fairing.
Yeah. It was his belly pan that he broke last year.
So, he does go well there. So he'll be fingers crossed, hoping that he can win that race and really put himself in a chance going into the last round of Valencia.
Yeah, a 5 points haul also, like you mentioned, Lewis, for the Brits. Scott Ogden finishing the race in Moto3 in 13th place, Josh Watley 14th. Maybe they won't be so pleased about that, since they only got there because everyone else crashed.
You have to finish.
You have to stay on.
Yeah, true.
They're having it feels like they're having a bit of a tough time recently, the Michael Laverty team. I don't know if it's just me looking from on the screen, but their bikes do look a bit slow.
No, they are.
I don't know if that's just looking on the screen.
I think they admit that themselves.
Yeah, it's just the Hondas in general, it seems. Obviously, you have Masia that's leading the championship of the Honda, but that is on the Leopard Honda, which has always been the fastest Honda on the circuit. Nobody's been able to get to them. I believe as well there's a new exhaust system this round as well, and they always seem to be the Honda team that's always trying to make little innovations like that to help their own back.
Well, they've got for next year. They've got some big upgrade or something. But I forgot what the announcement was. What are they doing?
The Honda are basically because the last couple of years, obviously they've had rules, or what should we say, the technical side has been halted because of the COVID years. So next year, Honda are able to make some updates to the bike. And KTM have always said they haven't made any updates, but you can tell that they have made their Moto3 bike better over the years. But Honda apparently next year are coming up with some big updates for their Moto3 bikes. So fingers crossed. Hopefully Josh and Scott both stay in that team and they can get the benefits of having some better bikes next season.
Yeah, and we have said in the past, although, well, I mean, I'm not too sure anymore. I mean, we've said in the past that we think it's probably best that they Josh and Scott stay in that team because, well, where else would they kind of go, really? They've already
if they do stay with that Michael Laverty team next season, it's a real big season for both of them because they really need to probably start pushing forward, because we're probably maybe not in 2025, but definitely soon we're going to have some, if they want to stick to the British formula, we've got some more Brits that are going to be knocking on the door soon saying, come on, it's my turn now. So the likes of maybe Eddie and obviously Casey, probably the bridges have been burned there with Casey. I should have said that, but definitely with Eddie and some other Brits that are going to be knocking on the door saying, yeah, it's my turn now. So it's a real big season for Scott and Josh next season. They really need to be looking at probably consistent top 10s to hopefully be able to carry on their racing journey.
Well, there are options, but there again, we thought also that Rory Skinner was safe in Moto2 as well. So that was a bit of it was good that the team got a podium in Moto2, but at the same time, I realised pretty much straight away. It's the wrong one that's got the podium, and then the team are going to be like, but what's the...
It couldn't have came at a worse time.
Yeah, so they did do, I don't know. Rory wouldn't be the first person to buy an OnlyFans. No, never mind. Well, you get involved in that sort of industry and you're going to get screwed over eventually, aren't you? So... I don't know.
Yeah, he's really, what's the word? Disappointing.
Disappointing.
For Rory.
Yeah, no, it really is.
I just hope that he can pick up another. I know there are a few Moto2 rides still going for next season in there, so hopefully, fingers crossed. I know it's probably highly unlikely that he can pick something up for next season. So, you would have thought. The only maybe little bit of grace he's got that is Dorna that probably will want to keep him in the championship because they need us. Well, they need some sort of someone representing us, if you know what I mean. So, like, as you know, they've been pushing hard to get Jake into a MotoGP team, and I think Lewis, you said there was a rumour going about the next year. If he doesn't get the call up at the end of next year, that will probably be his last year in Moto2, and he will go try and find a venture somewhere else.
Yeah, it was said on TNT comms at the weekend that Jake's basically said that after next season, if he's still not able to find a MotoGP rider, or at least find a way to progress, it sounds like he's going to be looking at the World Superbike paddock. So yet again, that would be another Brit in the World Superbike paddock. And on the subject of Brits going to the World Superbike paddock, it doesn't sound like it doesn't look like there's going to be much seats in World Superbike for the likes of Rory Skinner to go to, even if he wanted to venture to that paddock. So he's in a really tricky situation at the moment. Hopefully the team have said, of course, on social media that they're going to help him find a ride. As we know, it's not the first rider which has left or been kicked out everywhere, I say, mid-contract. We've seen halfway through this year with Sean Dillon Kelly. He went away, got arm pump surgery, and he never returned to the team, and instead got replaced by Marcos Ramirez, which landed his first ever Moto2 podium at the weekend, during the time where Rory Skinner was essentially fighting for his ride middle of the way for his 2-year deal. So, yeah, incredibly disappointing, especially from a Scottish point of view as well.
Oh, here we go.
Hopefully, it was nice to see one year.
It's two main riders, and neither of them have got rides anymore.
Exactly. John McPhee and Rory Skinner are both searching for a ride next year.
Why don't they both team up
and
and do like a Scottish racing thing? Get some wealthy Scots. But there's surely got to be someone wealthy in Scotland.
I'm trying to think of a wealthy
Mackenzie.
Scottish.
No, he's already got a ride. He don't need one.
Get it funded by Duncan Bannatyne.
Duncan Vincent Racing. There you go. Maybe. I don't know. But
yes, Dragon's Den, here we come.
Okay. But yeah, no, terrible shame for Skinner. I don't know what. I'm sure he'll find something. He's good enough to not be left on the sidelines, but there again, the predictions lately on this show.
To BSB.
Yeah. Why not? That is a excellent suggestion, but perhaps he might just fancy sticking around MotoGP if he probably can. Yeah,
if he can, I think he will. But I think worst case scenario, we might see him back.
It's a BSB. Great alternative. I won't say it's worst case scenario, but I mean it's to have a step.
Well, yeah, worst case scenario is not getting a seat, but could we even see him trying to go into the European Moto2 Championship and try to get back into Grand Prix that way, like Senna Aegis and Fermin Aldiger has done, and racing the Junior GP paddock for maybe 1 or 2 seasons in the Moto2 class.
He could yet spring a surprise and end up in the European World Superbike Championship.
Plus Australia.
Yeah, plus Australia. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, get him on the show, Lewis.
I have messaged. That
would be good. That would be good to get him on the show. I did see he did put a post out. I don't know if that post actually came out before the.
It came out, I think, 2 days before. A day before.
Where he said he's taken a break for social media for the week. So he knew, didn't he? Pretty much, probably as he left that race meeting, or maybe you don't know, even before it went into.
That would be a particularly cruel thing to find out by press release or however it was done on social media or whatever. So.
I mean, his manager, John Hopkins, Rory Skinner's manager, John Hopkins.
I don't think he'll be his manager for much longer.
And also team boss, John Hopkins. Surely, I assume, would have told him. But it's always a tricky situation when the team boss is also your manager. It's always...
And you've just been let go from the team. Thanks, boss.
It's going to be interesting interviews, I think, this weekend at Qatar. I'm surely some broadcaster is going to go and interview John Hopkins.
I reckon Neil Hodgson and will be in that. And Gav will probably be in that garage pretty swiftly on Friday morning.
Yeah, I mean, also what I remember thinking back as soon as that podium came about for his teammate, I also remember thinking back to an interview that he did at Phillip Island, I think, with TNT, and he was saying that it doesn't come across sometimes, all the results that we get. Sometimes we end up down finishing a race, but it's a lot further down, and people can't necessarily see all the social media warriors and stuff, the keyboard warriors, how hard we're trying here. That doesn't necessarily come across. Yeah. Should have told your team that.
At the end of the day, Moto2 is the hardest, I think, is personally the hardest championship in the world. It's not like MotoGP where if you're on the Ducati, you're on the best bike or anything like that. Majority of the guys in Moto2, you're all on the same bike, you're all on the same engines, and pretty much all of you are on the same bike. So there's no there's no difference where you can get away with a Ducati. You might not be as good as a rider, but you're going to get away with it because you're on a Ducati. In Moto2, it's pretty much a level playing field. So, it's all pretty much all down to the ability of the rider, and all of those riders in Moto2. There's no slow riders in Moto2s. Probably all of those riders at some point have won a championship, whether national or the European Moto2. They're all extremely quick riders. So it's extremely difficult, and I think Rory has been doing okay for his first year in that championship when he pretty much knows none of the tracks. You're obviously learning the bike every track you go to as well. So I don't know what the team expected. It is really a shame. Obviously, Jake Dixon, I would love to see Jake Dixon's results in his first year in Moto2. I can't imagine they were that much better than what Rory's doing now. So, yeah, it's a shame. And how many years has Jake been in Moto2 now? And he's now about to probably
I think.
Yeah, and he's now about to get his first. If he obviously does well in these last 2 rounds, he's about to get his first top 3 in the championship for the first time. And was it this season he got his first wins, or was it last season?
This season.
And you said 4th year in it?
Just having quick,
Yeah, what was it? What was the first win? Assen, wasn't it? And
it was Assen this year. So
Catalonia.
Rory Skinner's season. Well, Jake Dixon's first season in Moto2, he scored 2-point finishing positions. 12th place, which I believe is what Skinner finished in Australia, was a 12th as well. So both of their best results are the exact same. So it wasn't until his second year where he got his first top 10 finish, and he got 4 of them. You need more than 1 year in Moto2. I mean, you need more than 2 years really before you can see the best in your ability. But that second year is when you start to see glimpses of what you can actually achieve in the class. And also next season,
new
Pirelli tires.
It's going to be even more of a level playing field for everyone, because it's not like the riders that have been there for 3 or 4 years are used to the tyres. It's going to be a complete level playing field where no one's going to be used to these tyres. So fingers crossed, really fingers crossed, that Rory will get one of those rides that are left in Moto2 for next season.
Fingers crossed indeed. Let us know if you have any idea as to what Rory Skinner might be doing. And Lewis, let us know if he texts you back during the show.
Well, I will.
You never know. You probably won't, though, because he's getting ready for this.
I've also gave John Hopkins a message as well to see.
Oh yeah,
if he replies, but I think that's very unlikely.
A sweary laden message from what the you doing?
No, it's nice. It's nicely worded. I didn't even talk about the situation.
And we can all say probably John Hopkins, but it probably goes a bit deeper than... I can't imagine it's John Hopkins who wants to make this session, because he's a bike racer himself. I can't imagine he's the sort of guy who's gone, look, he's half...
Well, who's their biggest sponsor then?
Yeah, it is going to be down to sponsors, isn't it? And we're not talking about some website that... Yeah, we're not going to that sort of subject. But yeah, it's going to be down to sponsors, because they want to see their bikes near the front, don't they? Well, that is purely what it's going to be down to. So, this definitely wouldn't have been a John Hopkins decision, because he has been a bike racer, a top leveler himself. He's been in teams in MotoGP and that have probably not been the best, and he will understand that you need time. So it's definitely not a John Hopkins decision. So we definitely don't need to hurl any abuse at John Hopkins.
No.
Well, we don't know all the discussions that took place between him and Rory. We don't know exactly what was said, what the deal was like by X rounds. Then we're expected to be on the podium.
Clause.
Possibly, we don't know. So it could be worth speculating. Maybe. Like when did Ramirez join the team? What race? It was like halfway through, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Austria round he first joined. But before this, he also had 2 years previously with the team. Before he went to Forward Racing for 1.5 years, and then obviously replaced Sean Dillon Kelly mid-season this year. So hopefully, So it's a real tricky one. Also, Marcos Ramirez's dad, I believe he owns a gazebo company in Spain, so he might be able to bring some sponsorship as well, extra to the team on top of what they already have. And on a post on a post talking about the situation, Max Toff. Now, Max Toff races in the junior GP paddock, and he was a part of the American racing branch, I guess you could say. He wasn't racing for the team, but he was managed by the team and he was sponsored by the team, and he got some support as well. And he put up in the comments talking about the situation, saying, "Unbelievable. The clock is ticking on how long this behaviour can continue without consequences. This group of people have shown plenty as to what their true character is and how they feel it's okay to treat their riders. Can't stay silent about this." So he left the team, he left their management and his association with the team mid-season this year as well, a couple of weeks after the whole Sean Dillon Kelly situation as well. So,
did we ever get to the bottom of, or was it ever established exactly what how that came about, how Sean Dillon Kelly ended up leaving? Was it all down to just money? Was it just as brutal as that?
Yeah, it was pretty, he spoke about just his injury, obviously, went away to get arm pump surgery.
That was the excuse or something, wasn't it? And then there was...
Yeah.
He came out and said, although the team said he needs a bit of time to recover or something, and then he published a post of him doing some motocross and saying, "No, I'm fine, what are you talking about?" Or something like that.
Yeah, so he was injured and had to get arm pump surgery on his tissue inside of his arm, obviously. And whenever, after the summer break was finished, he felt like he was ready to finally make his return back to Grand Prix racing. He felt like he was ready to ride. So he said to the team, "Look, I'm ready to come back." And the team, he said in his own words in a social media post, after respecting the recovery time, I felt I was 100% ready to come back. And this is where the team and I have different opinions. That's all he said on the whole situation, is the fact that he had different opinions on when he should come back. And, he never came back to the team. And instead he went to Forward Racing for a couple of rounds to replace riders after Marcos Ramirez left them. So, yeah, it's a big shame. And it sounds like as well, John Hopkins, he was still pretty friendly with Sean Dillon Kelly after the whole situation. So that kind of links back to probably the fact that what these types of decisions aren't on John's back.
Well, I suppose the next person who might want to go, if things are as bad as former riders are saying, the next person might go would be John Hopkins. And otherwise, if he stays there, then you can't really, if
you could get a bad rap just from being
when everyone's getting fired left, right and centre, and then he's the one staying there, people are looking at him going, well, hang on, are things really as bad there as what everyone's saying? And if they are, why are you still there, John? Are you the problem here?
Plenty of teams would want him.
Yeah, are we all just sort of wanting to like that team, the American racing team? Just because...
No, I don't think anyone does at the moment.
Well, not at the moment, but I think, are they given a bit more leniency?
Because of John Hopkins.
Because of John Hopkins, whereas if it was just any other team... I think it could be
down to, as well, that same as what I said with, Jake Dixon and Rory, MotoGP want to see American rider back at the top. So they're going to want to keep that team... Shall I say, they probably do get more benefits because they probably want to see an American in MotoGP again. So they're probably going to want to keep the team going just because of that reason. Probably because, it's not been since Nicky Hayden, is it? Since there's been an American in MotoGP. So.
Well, no, also Ben Spies as well.
As well, yeah. So it's a big market for MotoGP to get an American doing well. So, that is probably another reason why as well.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole... probably I would say slightly, to be honest, with the whole John Hopkins point, because, it's that friendly face. Everyone likes John Hopkins, to be honest. He's a real likeable character. He's a character in general, to be honest.
I need to read his book. I still haven't done it.
His book is incredible.
Well, I won't read it. I'll need to get the video version.
Yeah, he almost needs to do another book now to explain this whole situation.
Another book saying, it wasn't me,
as team manager. Yeah, it wasn't me. That's all the title has to be. And luckily I had the pleasure of meeting him at Knockhill earlier on in the year as well. And he's so friendly, such a nice guy. And
did you get his phone number?
Yeah, that's why I sent him a text message.
Right, okay. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
He's definitely friendly if he's giving his number out.
Well, we don't know what Lewis said to him. He'd be like, yeah, I'm a shit up Scottish racer. Just if you need a new Scottish racer, if someone's not cutting the mustard.
Yeah, at this rate, I might be able to get a Moto2 ride with the team for a round or two. Solid point. But after Sean Dillon-Kelly was replaced, that's when Marcos Ramirez came in, and at that point they had no riders from the US in their US team, which was a little bit ironic. And next season, of course, they have Joe Roberts coming and returning back to the team, so they're still going to have that, but potentially
they love a return, don't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, Marcos Ramirez and Joe Roberts. So maybe even Cameron Bobby could come back. They
clearly love that team if they've come back. They haven't seen the bad side of the team yet, have they? They've come back for a second time.
It's all set for an OnlyFans collab. Anyway,
it's one of those things. It's it's not just a team because John Hopkins is the face of it. You associate with John Hopkins, and I think probably that has given it a little bit more leeway. But social media has the general consensus that nobody is happy with this decision, apart from a couple of people which were like, well, Rory wasn't getting results anyway, which, I mean, as we've already mentioned, it's his first year. So hopefully he can find a ride, not just because he's British, but because it's a really, really terrible situation that's happened over the past couple of days. I mean, it was only the start of the weekend that talks of this was kind of unfolding, that he could potentially lose his ride. And now, well, he's lost it within 4 days.
I've just been looking at the results of Ramirez versus Skinner, the past few races. The biggest gap in results have come in the past couple of races, with Ramirez on the podium at the last round and Skinner finishing or being classified 20th. Anyway in 20th. He was classified in 20th in the round before, which was forgetting what bloody race is it, Thai Grand Prix or something, whatever it was. And Ramirez was 6th. Ramirez in the race before was 10th, and Skinner was 12th. So closing the gap, obviously, with Ramirez is more experience in the class. That might explain that, and maybe he was given a bit more breathing space and time to, just a bit more time by one would hope Hopkins, because as you say, he's a former rider himself. He would probably understand, with Skinner learning all these tracks, etc. It just happened to be that maybe Rory, I mean, his highest place finish this was 12th, in fact. In that race where Ramirez finished 10th.
That was the wet race in Australia.
Yes. But ever since then, it's been sort of 18th, 19th, 20th, 25th. And there was a few rounds where he was out. Or so. Did he get injured? It's been such a long season. Yeah,
he got injured in Mugello.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we had a few rounds out and stuff, so it's been consistent. Rory's been consistent, whereas Ramirez, you'd have to question him a little bit more, I'd say, if I'm a team boss, and I'm definitely not, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But since he rejoined the team, his results went from 14th, 16th, 14th, 9th, 7th, 16, 10, 6, and a podium. So what's changed for him? What's he doing that Rory's not? And why are the team not giving Rory Ramirez his setups?
I don't think it's down to setups. I just think it's down to Ramirez knows the tracks. He knows the bike setup before he gets to the tracks because he's been there, done it before. I was actually quite surprised how long that Ramirez had been going. He's definitely been under my radar until Lewis had mentioned how long he has been in Moto2 for. So when you think he's gone that he's gone that long in Moto2 and he's only just got his first podium this weekend.
He's quite old, actually. It was just looking at how old is he? Let me see. It was born in
25.
He's nearly 26. Yeah, he's 26 in December next month. So, yeah, he's getting on a bit. He's Ramirez.
Yeah. He's been in the Grand Prix paddock since 2014 as well. Obviously, I'm sure, we can't necessarily blame Ramirez as well, because if you got offered a ride on a Calyx, especially because he's been stuck on the MV Agusta chassis for the past 1.5 years. So if you got offered the Calyx ride, even though someone else was already in that place, you would probably still jump at the opportunity anyway, just to get him out of that hole that he was in, racing with the MV Agusta chassis. But yeah, he's had plenty of experience, plenty of opportunities. He's already had 2 years with the American racing team. So, he's been in the paddock in general since 2016, really, when he started coming into the paddock full time. So, yeah, it's a tricky one anyway. And I think there's going to be a lot of finger pointing over the next couple of rounds over whose decision this was and why.
Yeah. Okay. So shall we move on and talk about something slightly more positive?
The Moto2 race.
The Moto2
race. Pedro Acosta is our new champion.
Yay! I've always liked Acosta. He's won two world championships in 3 years now, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's won, and he was only in Red Bull Rookies and won the championship in Red Bull Rookies in 2020, which, it's crazy how fast, considering then what's going to be
3 big championships in 3 years?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years, and he's going to be in MotoGP within 5 years of winning the Red Bull Rookie Championship.
Yeah, it's insane. That is...
all the more reason, if you're a... rider wishing to start out on your MotoGP career, to do so at Fab Racing, the unofficial feeder series to the Red Bull Rookies.
So yeah, and we have two Fab riders in Red Bull Rookies next season. So
yeah, again, saying.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, congratulations, and I wasn't mistaken, was I? He was actually being sick.
Yeah, sick 3 times, I think, on post-race
He was
interview.
sick next to my brother, and then he was sick twice in the interview with Simon Crafar, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I can empathise.
I think it was down to the extremely tropical weather that they have over there. I think didn't help, but obviously all put together with the excitement of becoming world champion. Probably
maybe plus his dinner the night before. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it all came to a head. But another really takeaway, obviously the brilliant Pedro Acosta becoming champion. Phil Aldeguer. Another absolutely stunning ride.
Yeah.
Apart from that little incident on the first corner.
Turn 1.
Yeah. With I forgot his name.
Manu Gonzalez.
How no one hit him, I do not know. I mean, right in the middle of the track.
That was just, yeah.
It was a bit of a questionable move, but I was kind of with that it was a racing incident. It was just 2 riders just collided at the same bit of track they were both aiming for. So I'm glad a penalty wouldn't have been given. Even if a penalty had been given, even if he had got a long lap, he would have still won anyway. Yeah. So, Aldeguer, what a end to the season he's had, winning these last 2 races by a fair distance as well. So we don't know if Pedro Acosta's been kind of just taking it easy just to get the points that he's needed, but Acosta's going to be out, shall we say, be let off the leash for the last 2 rounds because he's got nothing to lose, has he? He's won the championship. He can go do what he needs to do. He's just got to make sure he doesn't get injured for that first test that Lewis will be watching at Valencia.
Yes. Yeah. And he's wrapped it up then, Acosta, with 2 rounds to go, 77 points out in front at the moment. And does he take it easy? Does he just I think he's going to go for it now. I think even though he won the championship, I bet in the back of her mind he's thinking,
Aldeguer's kind of stealing my thunder a bit here. So I reckon he'll be back out for it, trying to get that win, just to prove that, yes, I am number one now. The reason I'm champion for a reason. So I reckon he's going to be going to Qatar looking to get another win. And
that's another thing as well. Aldeguer, he's in the past 4 races,
he's been on fire.
Yeah, I mean, his previous results was like only just sort of top 10-ish. Apart from the win that he got at Silverstone, but
they did say they'd made some massive changes to that bike, and it just clicked for him straight away. So,
well, his previous results before Indonesia, Japanese Grand Prix and India, he was like 22nd and 12th. And then I think he was a DNF in whatever round that was before.
Misano.
Misano, and then 13th. And then all of a sudden, 2 podiums in Indonesia and Australia, and 2 wins at the last 2 races. So,
he's impressed me a lot the last few rounds.
Dixon's got to really pull his socks up.
He could lose third. If he keeps this brilliant form up, Dixon could lose third in the championship, which I don't think Dixon, apparently there's some big bonuses if he gets top 3 in the championship, so he definitely won't want to be losing it. But he's been really impressive. I don't think any of us saw it coming, but when you're beating Pedro Acosta by that much, whether Pedro Acosta is just kind of taking it easy, it's still really impressive. So, it'd be interesting this weekend at Qatar to see how he does, because like we said, Pedro Acosta can kind of go for it now and not have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, and obviously when he joined the championship last year for his first full season in the class after racing in Moto E and the Junior GP paddock, we did see a glimpse of what could have been in Argentina, when he was actually battling for the race lead on the podium and fighting for the race lead until he had this weird crash where he span 180 degrees
back on himself.
And he crashed out. But that was the first time that we've seen how fast Fermin Aldeguer could actually be. But then for the rest of the year, it was a pretty quiet end to the season, a couple positions near the podium, but not on the podium at all. And then this year, it seems this last half of the season, it's just absolutely clicked for him. And also, obviously, that first win at Silverstone this year, that kind of put that weight off his shoulders, and then he could focus again. And then he was already being tipped for the Repsol Honda ride, which we'll get into a little bit later on, because there's a lot to discuss about that. Yeah, so he was tipped for that. He said he was contacted by Repsol Honda, and then Repsol Honda, Alberto Puig, said that he'd not contacted Fermin Aldeguer at all, and he had no clue what he was talking about.
Awkward.
So it's pretty strange, the whole Fermin Aldeguer situation. Is he ready to go up to MotoGP? I think he needs another year in Moto2, because I think he can fight for the World Championship next year. But also, if he was on the Calyx right now, obviously he's on that Boscoscuro chassis, what would his results be like? Is it maybe this chassis he's just clicked with, or if he was on the Calyx, could he potentially be consistently, like we've seen this last couple of rounds, winning races like Pedro Acosta has this year?
Well, what do you reckon, Jay?
I think it'd be, obviously, you don't know if he was kind of making them stories up himself for publicity for the Honda. But
if he has, it's worked.
Yeah, I think it'd be really. I think he's found a home now on that chassis, and I think he'd be stupid to leave that team now. I think stick with what you know at the moment, especially with the way he's riding at the moment, full of confidence. As long as he has 2 good results at Qatar and Valencia, stay where you are. It'd be even more impressive if he goes to wins that Moto2 championship next year on a bike that pretty much no one else is on. So if personally, with the confidence he's got at the moment, next season, if he's got the choice, stay where you are. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, I've just been having a look at Tony Arbolino's results as well. Only 2 podiums since
he's dropped off massively.
Yeah,
unless it's wet recently, it's not been great.
Yeah, well, like you say, Jay, his results have been a bit boring. he's had a bit of a sleepy season, but he's had 11 so far, top 5 finishes.
Really well.
Yeah, he's had 8 podiums in total. They all came at the start of the season. And, he's still second in the championship at the moment, with quite a decent gap back to Jake Dixon. So, yeah, he could just coast. Well, I think he will finish in second now, won't he?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Points gap is... he's got the calculator out.
Over 50 points at the moment.
Yeah, that. So, yeah, his work came at the start of the season, really, with a podium, a win. He's only had 3 wins in total. Jake Dixon...
60.5 gap.
Yeah, Jake Dixon at the moment, he's on 2 wins at the moment. So, yeah, I think with Dixon, it's definitely the DNFs and the crashes and the stupid incidents and the unfortunate, unlucky incidents as well that obviously cost him. I don't have to say that he knows, the old curse of the Brits. With Arbolino, he's what do we reckon about him? Has he had a good season, a bad season, a season of... I don't know. I mean,
at the start of the season, I think he blew us all away with how well he was doing. I mean, he's really taken the fight to Pedro Acosta, which I don't think many of us expected. In the wet, he's just he's in another league compared to everyone else. Whenever the rain comes in, I mean, he just leaves everyone for dust. But yeah, the second half of this season in the dry conditions, he's really struggled. Not just against Pedro Acosta, but even top 10s have been a bit of a struggle for him. So he was a bit unlucky in this race at Qatar, really. He did get knocked about a bit on the first few laps. I think he ran into the back of Ayagura, and that was it.
And he was caught up in the turn 1 incident with Gonzalez.
So it was a real messy start of the race for him. He could have possibly maybe got a podium if he hadn't had the first few laps incidents. So, but that wouldn't have stopped Pedro not winning the championship. So, yeah, a really good start to the season, but his form has dipped off a bit towards the end. But I think next year he'll probably be, with Aldeguer, probably one of the favourites to battle for the title next year.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Lou?
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a championship contender next season. He ended last year very strong, which is the exact opposite to what he's doing this year. Came into the season pretty much a perfect performance. Podiums the first 3 rounds, and 6 podiums in the first 7 races. And then there's not been that much from him. He's had a couple of crashes in practice and qualifying. Well, actually, mainly it's been his qualifying which seemed to have held him back, and he struggled to in those early laps because he's in the middle of the pack. That's really where you get rustled up, like we've seen this weekend, where suddenly there's a bike in the middle of the road just because you started further down the field than what you were intending to. So yeah, he wasn't going to win the title this year. It was pretty much one hand on the trophy for Pedro Acosta, unless it's like an injury or a mechanical happened for him. So it was always going to be a tough ask this round. And certainly to take it to Valencia, I would say would be near impossible without Acosta getting injured. So yeah, next season, definitely championship contender. I mean, middle point of the season, we were discussing potentially if Tony Arbolino could be a MotoGP rider within the next couple of years.
Well, he was leading the championship up to...
Yeah, he was.
Up until the Assen, I think. So...
Yeah. Yeah, it's just tailed off after that. I mean, Assen was Germany was his last podium before, obviously, Indonesia and then Australia, but Germany was his last proper goods round. Before then in Assen, we started to get this weird tailed off, really didn't look like the same Tony Arbolino. He was getting frustrated in the pit box, and well, now a 10th place finish, which all in all was a pretty good recovery ride. I mean, I don't actually see that much more he could have done apart from qualify better and not hit into the back of Ayagura, but considering what happened, he's still done well to get a 10th place finish. So yeah, he's definitely going to be one to look out for next year. And next year's Moto2 Championship could be pretty feisty between Arbolino and Fermin Aldeguer, and potentially even Jake Dixon could get into the mix. I mean, another year in Moto2 wouldn't hurt him. He's already got that first race when anything can happen. Next year Moto2 it's going to be good.
Is Canet got a ride next year in Moto2? Is he still there?
Yeah, I haven't actually heard anything from Aaron Canet, and he's another rider which...
He needs a win, doesn't he?
He needs a win, and I think it's got into his own head at this point over the fact he's not got that race win. I mean,
5
obviously
second
he had that,
places.
Yeah, 5 second places is the bridesmaid, to be honest, the Moto2 class, constantly getting second places. He's not had a race win since 2019, his last Moto2 season, Moto3 season, whenever he was battling for the championship there. So, yeah, so disappointing for Canet. Hopefully he can get that first race win. He's been so close. He's made some mistakes. And it seems like even if he's in contention on that final lap, he seems to ride very tense, and it's almost like it's got in his head. He almost needs a final lap where the two riders in front of him take each other out and he could just win his first race and get it over and done with. And then we could see the proper Aaron Canet, because although he's not won a race, he's still 5th place in the championship. So I think he is a good rider. I don't see him being a MotoGP rider at this stage in his career. I mean, 24 years old, and he's not won a race in the intermediate class yet. I don't think he's going to be a championship contender next season unless he can win a race early on, even if he's in the class.
Are you saying he's not good enough then?
Yeah.
He's very close. He's
everyone's very close.
He's a good rider, but I don't think he's going to necessarily have that extra bit. And actually, just quickly, he'll be with the Fantic Racing next season, so he'll be in Vietti's team next year.
So, yeah, but like we were talking about Aldeguer, we probably didn't think he was good enough, did we? But then suddenly... Yeah. A bit of confidence, and look what it's done. So never say never. I'm a fan of Canet, so I'm hoping that he gets that maiden win. He definitely a bit of a Zarco. He's a bit of a Zarco of the Moto2 at the moment, isn't he?
Do you see in the future, that is, do you see him potentially being a MotoGP rider?
Like you said, there's so many other riders that not are just in Moto2 at the moment, but also coming through Moto3 that they will, you would have thought would surpass him and come through. There's quite a few in Moto3 at the moment who I think they're going to be good, especially David Alonso at the moment, who obviously had a terrible weekend this weekend, but his first season this season has been pretty incredible. Not Pedro Acosta incredible, but it's been really impressive. So also Colin Vire as well, getting his first win in this weekend in the rookie. So there's a lot of very impressive riders coming through at the moment. So like you said, I don't think he'll be a MotoGP rider, but I definitely think I think he's definitely worthy of getting a Moto2 win at some point.
We'll see.
So
might even be this weekend.
Good next season. Every championship's going to be good next season.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
we were talking before we came on air that World Superbikes, we think we've got like 5 years now where it's just going to constantly get better and better every year with what riders could be going into the championship.
The quality of MotoGP rejects are getting better every year.
Yes. There's more and more of them.
Yeah, so the quality of that's World Superbikes again, isn't it? It's going to be a really good race. And I think next year's World Superbikes is going to be, if this rule change makes a big difference, it could be really good next season.
It could, yeah. So could a lot of things and a lot of people and a lot of teams and a lot of situations. We'll just have to wait and see. Right, is that everything with Moto3 and Moto2?
Let's talk MotoGP, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. MotoGP. The headlines, Lewis. What are they?
Yeah, at the weekend, Enea Bastianini, the beast, is back on top in MotoGP. He won the main race on the Sunday after an unexpected weekend, to be honest. Qualified third, finished first in the race and finished fourth in the sprint race. But in the sprint race, Alex Marquez, he was on top in that one. An incredible result there from him. And as well, Alvaro Bautista, he made his MotoGP return, first race since 2018. We'll be discussing how everything seemed to go wrong for him this weekend. And well, the race itself, we'll be discussing our thoughts on it, obviously. And if it was harsh to say, but if it was the worst race of the 2023 season, and as well, the Repsol Honda seat is still up for grabs with about 50 riders' names in the hat for that one, with now Luca Marini being the main contender.
Well, it looks like, Marquez have said himself.
Yeah, it seems to be almost a done deal at the moment.
So
I don't know about you, but I just can't believe that. I cannot believe that. He's like the most. You would every rider I would have put ahead of him to get that ride.
Your predictions though lately,
I would have seen Pecco Bagnaia take that ride more than Luca Marini taking that ride. I mean,
so always the ones you least expect.
The VR46 team, which is Rossi's team, which he is Rossi's step-brother, I think, or half-brother, shall I say. So that team was pretty much made for him. That is built around him, that team. And then you get to the point where Rossi had it was a long time ago, but Rossi had a massive falling out with Honda because Honda used to say, it's not Rossi's ability, it's all down to our brilliant bike. He went to Yamaha, so Rossi hasn't got the greatest relationship with Honda, especially when a couple of years ago when he retired and he asked for his 500 two-stroke bike and they wouldn't give it to him. So, Rossi hasn't got the greatest relationship with Honda. So, it just it baffles me. They must be offering him so much money.
Could it also be that no one else kind of really, really wants that ride and he's probably just like, I'll do it?
Yeah, but why would he do it? You've got a team that is
I'll do
effective. You've got a team effectively that is yours. I mean,
well, not really. We don't know exactly what was said, what wasn't said, what was guaranteed. Maybe the package that might be offered by Repsol Honda is better than what might have been offered elsewhere. The only thing that I can see that is good with going to Honda, whatever happens, you're never going to look like the bad person, because if you ride and crash all the time, everyone's just going to go, it's not his fault, it's the bike. But if somehow miraculously he does really, really well on it, he's going to look like, oh God. So he's never going to look in the wrong, is he? It's always going to be thumbs up for him, whether he does rubbish or whether he does good. He can't do nothing wrong, can he? What do you reckon, Lewis?
I think
the person you've got to take into consideration here, even though it's on the Yamaha, not the Honda, Morbidelli. He's been on that Yamaha for the factory one, for 2 seasons, done absolutely nothing. You would forget he was even there. But somehow he's managed to get a Pramac Ducati ride because everyone's been saying
he's got very lucky.
Yeah, everyone's been saying it's not Morbidelli, it's the bike. And he still landed up and got probably the second best team seat on the grid. So, Luca Marini has got, that's the only good thing I can see out of this situation. He's got nothing to lose. Nothing.
If, for example, we wake up tomorrow morning, which we probably will, and Luca Marini signed for the team, because I did see as well Rossi putting up a picture of Luca Marini in a Repsol Honda.
Levers.
Repsol Levers from when he was a child. So, but if we wake up tomorrow, the announcement comes out. It's in my opinion, one of the worst. From right now sitting here, it's one of the worst signings that we've seen. And Luca, it's pretty good choice from Repsol Honda in their heads, because they're getting a nice, cool, calm, collected, experienced MotoGP rider, and a quick MotoGP rider, and someone that's not known to crash all the time. But from Luca Marini's point of view, it's probably one of the worst decisions he can make at the moment, in my opinion. He was on one of the best bikes on the grid, as you mentioned, and as well a team that was originally started to form around him, of course, whenever the Sky VR46 got involved with a vintage Ducati before Rossi took everything over after the Sponsorama days. So, I struggled to believe it. I did actually hear, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that they offered Marini a seat, but apparently rejected it, but I guess maybe not.
But what were the conditions of that offer, though, as well? Was it just a 1 year something?
What we have been hearing is that Repsol Honda have been offering 1 year deals to a lot of riders, including Miguel Oliveira, which said that he got offered a 1 year deal and that he didn't take it because it seems like Honda has no strategy at the moment, was his words. But apparently, is what they were saying on comms at the weekend and throughout the media, is that it was a 2 year deal that they're offering Luca Marini, which, if it's a 2 year deal, that usually means a 2 year deal which he's going to keep being out the loop of the contracts. He's going to have to do a 1 year extension on top of that. So really, it's probably going to end up being a 3 year deal at that. So, yeah, it would be a strange move, apart from it make his bank account look very, very good. Or who knows, Honda could have something in their back pocket where next year's bike is suddenly going to be amazing. But certainly looking at it right now, it's not a good move from Luca Marini if he wants to get results and make himself look good. So,
and if that even is the eventual outcome, because I mean nothing's been officially said by anyone, has it? So
Marquez basically sounded like he knew all about it anyway during his media debrief at the weekend.
Well, he's on his way out anyway, so he can show.
Yeah, he can see what he wants now.
I think Honda are probably, I think we spoke about it last week, but these rule changes that are coming into MotoGP with the 800cc and maybe less aero and things like that. I think that's when maybe we might be able to see Honda that might improve for him.
At the weekend, talking about rules, there was talks of rules getting changed next year, which should help Ducati. Should hinder Ducati and help every other manufacturer, basically, especially Yamaha and Honda. And it sounds like concessions are going to be coming back, and
I think that's good.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's the way they were talking at the end of the weekend, it sounds like it's almost a done deal. It's ready to be announced. Is that the Ducati team is meant to be getting less tyres next year for the pre-season testing. And now MotoGP testing, it's not based on the amount of days that you do, it's based on the amount of sets of tyres that you use. And each team gets allotted a certain amount of tyres by Michelin, and then that's all they have for the pre-season testing programme. And it sounds like Ducati, they're going to be given less tyres than all the other manufacturers, and Yamaha and Honda are going to be given an extra 30 sets or something along that lines.
Is that because Ducati have got more teams, do you reckon?
Ducati have more teams, so they're going to have more data as well. And it sounded like, in general, the Yamaha and Honda, Dorna would find a way to be able to help them. A couple months ago, it was talked about concessions coming back, but we didn't know in what form. And it sounds like this is going to be the way forward. And yeah, they have more teams anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter. They have 8 riders on the grid plus their test teams. So I don't think we're going to see too much, but it's definitely going to allow potentially Yamaha and Honda that chance to try and close up the gap. Nothing else has been said on the 850cc regulation change that was talked about within the media, rumours about it, but that's not going to be till 2027 anyway. And like we've seen this weekend, a big talking point, we kind of spoke about, touched upon the fact that it was not the most exciting race in the world, probably one of the worst of the year. And, it's all about tyre temperatures and tyre rules. And the front tyre from... quite a few riders, first of all, were under the minimum limit this weekend. That's because now they almost get a joker card and they can get a warning for breaking the rules with this new tyre pressure rule. Like we see with Bastianini and Bagnaia at the weekend, they were both...
Why should they get a warning, though? That's just say, sort it out before, because we don't want to actually, regulate this properly. So
obviously Martin, he got given the warning at the Thailand Grand Prix, and heading into this round, we were all talking about the fact that, I wonder if Bagnaia is going to deliberately run under the minimum tyre pressure to gain an advantage, because all he's going to get is a warning, and it's the final round where it's going to be really critical with tyre temperatures, because it's that hot, it's humid temperatures, unlike Valencia, which is going to be pretty mild for the end of November, and Qatar, which is going to be in the night in the middle of the desert, so you don't have that same humidity. So yeah, and it turned out Bagnaia was under the minimum tyre pressures at the weekend, and obviously all he's going to get for that is a warning. Next time he does it, he'll get a 3-second penalty, but now he's on the level playing field of Martin. But why that's so important, running under minimum tyre pressure, I know tyre talk usually is quite boring, but it's the state that MotoGP is in at the moment, is the fact that the tyres are overheating as soon as you're behind a bike, and you're almost getting effect with all this area we've got now, like they've had in Formula 1 for years now, with dirty air, and the dirty air's making the tyre temps overheat. Fall on the bike, it's making the tyre temps, making the tyres overheat, and the tyres, they're locking, they're folding every single corner and pushing you wide. It's horrible for the riders. So they've been trying to go under pressures. We've known about it. Now they've got a rule in place. The rule doesn't seem like it's working. It's quite a stupid rule. No one's happy with the rule. In fact, Alicia Spargo says it's wrecking the sport. And aero's getting more and more, which means the tyre temps are going to get higher and higher with the more dirty air that's produced. And also ride height devices aren't helping this effect at all. But the only way we can get rid of these things if all teams agree to get rid of them, which Ducati aren't going to do at the moment. So the only way they can get rid of them is on safety grounds, which you have to say it always is safety grounds. But yeah, what we need is a new front tyre from Michelin, or the aerodynamics put back. We need some rule changes in MotoGP before we get this front tyre. Otherwise, we're going to see races like this happening quite regular, I would think. We're not going to see those last lap battles that are possible. Because, well, we see that Martin, I know I am rambling on at this point, but we see with Martin that he was battling with Bagnaia at the weekend, and as soon as a couple laps went by, as soon as that front tyre got too hot, he just dropped back, and it was 2-3 seconds back by that point. And yeah, we haven't seen some good racing at hot races for a couple of times now. So yeah, hopefully anyway we can see some rule changes and see better races.
Well, yeah, like you say, usually talking about tyre pressures is a bit sleepy and boring, but
a bit like that race was.
It says a lot. That's
the reason why.
One of the most interesting topics of conversation to come out of the race is tyre pressures.
Yeah.
It does seem a bit weird that people should be allowed to have a warning, so don't do it again, because we don't want to have to issue any penalties and look like the bad guys.
Isn't there a new tyre coming out next season where they're not going to have to worry about this, or they're going to try and improve it?
It's been delayed till 2025, I believe.
Okay. So this rule will be in for next season again then?
Well, it sounds like it. Actually, it sounds like the rule's going to be getting stricter next season, and I believe the format is different for wildcards and stuff. So this weekend, Álvaro Bautista was under the tyre pressure limit, and I believe next year that's an instant penalty, or perhaps even a disqualification if you're a wildcard.
Didn't they say that previously, though? I mean, we're really cracking down now. This is it. We're really going to
that was the plan, but there's so many loopholes in this rule, and the fact that you can essentially break the rules once whenever you want in the year and get away with it is crazy.
God. I mean, what they should do is have like a zero tolerance, like what TFL do. If you accidentally drive into one of their London zones, then boom, you owe them like £3,000. True story. Bastards. So yeah, that's what MotoGP should be doing. Like, this is the rule, these are the limits. If you go over it, tough. That's just rules is rules. Unless everyone's given a special dispensation to break the rule at least once, and then maybe if they argue the case. So it gets a bit messy, and then rightly so, one rider could say, well, hang on, he did the thing last week and that's what we're doing this week, and then it just becomes a bit of a joke, and then everyone takes the piss out of your rules.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening at the moment, and nobody's really happy with the racing that we got this weekend.
Wasn't bad, was it? Was it?
Yeah, it was. It was a proper Formula One.
The sprint race. The sprint race was okay.
Yeah, sprint race was...
Well, I mean, the TNT commentators were going on, they're going wild about the track. Oh, it's such a technical track, and, for a rider, it's amazing and stuff. Well, yeah, good for them. They're not watching it.
It usually is a better race than that. I mean, we've seen last year, it was a last lap battle between Bagnaia and Bastianini last year, and obviously Martin, he was leading before he crashed. So we've seen some great races. 2015 as well at Sepang, we've seen a great battle between Rossi and Marquez.
Rossi pinned it.
That slight historic moment. Was it a kick or not?
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
There was one a few years later where Rossi was leading all race.
2018 that was.
Away at him.
Yeah, turn one, yeah. But yeah, hopefully we can see some change somewhere and just something either to make the rule, like you said, Lester, a clear-cut penalty, so there is everyone's been grey area.
Yeah, everyone's been crying out for consistency, not just. I mean, not necessarily one way or the other, just consistency in the rules. And I think if everyone gets consistency, then everyone's happy. So whether that means they fall foul 1 week, then okay, fair enough. But yeah, it shouldn't be one rule for one person one weekend, then a different rule for a different person a different weekend. But hey ho, it might be different this weekend. Who knows? So there you go, Jay.
No, I've got nothing much more to say on that race, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say out at all.
Don't say it.
Well,
two of the Honda riders crashed again. So
it's their 50th crash of the season.
Joan Mir and Nakagami both crashed on
Should
Honda.
get a little celebration or something, something like a...
No, Marquez actually did say, well, we have broken one record this season.
Yeah.
Oh.
I believe it's Marquez. Marquez has also broke the record for his most amount of crashes in one season. I think it's up to 27, I think, at the moment. And considering he's missed quite a lot of rounds this year, it's quite remarkable it's that high.
Yeah, well, at least he's not... at least he stopped breaking bones. So
I wonder what the combined Honda crashes are this season. It'd be interesting to find out.
Lewis will lock that up, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, total Repsol Honda crashes at least is 50, but I don't know what that's going to be involving LCR and both LCR riders, or LCR riders and Iker Lecuona and Stefan Bradl and whoever else wants to jump on the bike.
Well, there was at least one Marquez on the top step this weekend with Alex Marquez winning the sprint race, and a bit of champion, what shall we say, a bit of team orders there. Bastianini did not go past Pecco in the sprint race. He sat behind him when he clearly had more pace to be able to go past him, so there was a little bit of team orders this weekend. Didn't let Pecco go past, and he scored a few more points to keep. I think he got away a point this weekend, didn't he, from Jorge Martin through the two races. So a successful weekend for Pecco this weekend, making the gap one more point bigger and one less round, obviously. Yeah, and it was actually, just going back to Alex Marquez, it was his most successful weekend of the season. A win in the sprint race and a podium in the main race, second place in the actual race, and that'll be his second podium of the season. So
and his second sprint race win, because he won at Silverstone.
Yes,
that. But overall, he got a win in one. Is the sprint still classed as a race, or is it just a sprint?
It's just a sprint still.
It's not classed as a Grand Prix win.
Sort it out, Dorna. What are you doing? When everyone calls it a race, because that's what it is, it's a sprint race, then you go onto the website and it's like, well, so-and-so had a race. No, that was just a sprint. I mean, when you, just saying, it messes up your spreadsheets. Just saying. Good round for him, Alex Marquez. A bit of a forgotten person now, do you think?
Definitely not.
He's impressed. He's been quite impressive this year. Yeah,
I think he gets a lot of hate for being Marquez's brother, but he's definitely he deserves to be in the MotoGP paddock.
So, he's a two-time
he deserves
champion.
to be MotoGP though.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I think he, to be honest, Alex, he's earned it in his own right. Obviously, won both Moto3 and the Moto2 World Championship. And now with Pedro Acosta winning Moto2 and Moto3, he was, well, one of the 4 riders that have done it in the 20th century. So, yeah, it proves that Alex Marquez is in his own club. And what we have seen, it's took him a couple of years in every single class really to perform to his best. Even in Moto2, it took him a couple of years to win that title in 2018.
And could you count these last 2 years? Because he was on a Honda.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a very tough year for him. 2020, when he was on that Repsol, we've seen some glimpses of podiums, Aragon and stuff like that. So we've seen how quick he can be, and then obviously had 2 tough seasons, and now he's back on top in the Gresini Ducati. And next year it's been interesting to see how he works with his brother as well. So
I think he'll absolutely destroy Mark.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's nearly as good as someone saying they're going to win when they come last. That is, Lester.
Well, think about it. He's experienced in the team. He'll know that package inside out. He's already performing kind of all right on it. Whereas Mark is all like, he'll come into that next year. He'll be like, just getting my head around things, and that's providing his arm doesn't fall off or something. He doesn't go wild again. I mean, Mark's first finish in a race this season was Austria until what was that, halfway through the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't actually have that many rounds out through injury. He had fewer rounds out than I thought he did. I thought up until then he was actually just basically dead for most of it.
Going back to Alex, he has done well this season.
That's what I'm saying.
Beginning of the season, he was really unlucky because I think he got taken out 3 times at the start of the season. He also broke his ribs and he did miss a round.
Missed 3
as well.
He's still suffering from the rib injury that he got during qualifying. So
he has been a bit unlucky this season, a bit inconsistent, not through the fault of his own. So
yeah, Mark's had 3 rounds out as well. Through injury. Only 3, is that right? 3 rounds? I'm just looking on the site.
He got injured after he took out Oliveira round 1.
He was out for Argentina, Cota, and the Spanish Grand Prix. So yeah, Mark's only had 3 rounds in total out. The rest of it was just crap.
Also, he was out Germany, because he had them 8 crashes or something in one weekend, and he withdrew from the weekend on the Sunday morning.
Yeah, but he was still entered into the weekend. He was still there.
Yeah, but he never started the actual race itself.
No, but he did do the sprint race that weekend, I think.
He didn't do the race because he didn't want to lose his ridiculously good record he has.
He's already
done it.
Yeah. But in terms of the traditional not showing up to a weekend because you're actually injured, no possibility. Mark has been out, as in not turned up to a race, the same amount of races as Alex, and Alex has just been a lot better
on a better bike.
Yeah,
technically better. Yeah, but that anyway. This time next year,
we saw it this weekend because they put a caption up of Alex Marquez's time from last year on the Honda.
Yeah, it was 2 seconds quicker.
Yeah, 2 seconds quicker on the, and you got to think, that he's probably there isn't a bad Ducati team, but he's probably on the least
supported
Ducati team, if you know what I mean, the most private Ducati team. So
I do still think that Alex will absolutely smash Mark next year.
Oh dear,
might be
I'm not going to say anything.
Well, okay. Go on then, Jay. Go on.
Oh, I'm not going to. No. I respect your opinion, Lester.
That's exactly what people say when they don't respect someone's opinion. Okay, so why do you think Mark will just breeze in that team next year when he doesn't know the package and Alex does?
Well, Lewis is going to be, with his own eyes, he's going to be the first person to see it. So at Valencia, so he'll give us all the lowdown.
That's a nothing. That's just a shakedown, basically. It's just
Well, I think Marquez is going to be inside the top 5 by the end of the first day of testing.
100%. Yeah, 100. It's going to be Ian O'Neill all over again.
Let's not.
Oh, come on.
One thing as well, talking about injuries and riders not starting weekends, Alex Rins was out once again this weekend. Now, this means, it's my favourite statistic, and it's not good that we have a statistic, but it's mind-blowing that we have it.
Last Honda race winner.
Well, the last Honda race winner, but we have 2 rounds left this season, and we have yet to have a race where all riders have made this start.
Oh, yeah.
This year. And we have 2 rounds remaining to try and not have a full season where we have riders injured every single round. So, yeah, it's crazy to think that's even possible.
Quick question.
You've got a lot of people put that because of the sprint races.
Sprints, yeah. Well, at the start,
and there's got to be a bit of evidence in that, really, hasn't there? Really, with it never have happened before, and it's happened the year that we've brought sprint races in. So, there could be a bit of something in that. I don't want them to get rid of the sprint races. I enjoy there being a race on Saturday, but yeah, obviously, clearly.
I'd prefer it if there were 2 races on the Sunday and actually classed as actual races, not just like a sprint.
Be nice if it was classed as a race.
Yeah. And just the fact it's on a Saturday really messes up my Saturdays, to be honest, because if I miss it because you go out and do whatever.
It's always about you, Lester.
Well, yeah, you should, but
I've enjoyed it, to be honest. I was really against the sprints. I mean, I remember filling in the survey which helped them make this decision, and I was like, no, I don't want a sprint at all. I made sure to click that button in the survey because I thought it would be a terrible idea. But I've really enjoyed it this year. It's given a little bit more meaning to Saturday. I was probably most scared of the fact it would take away from the Sunday Grand Prix itself, but I haven't really felt that. But yeah, maybe 2 races on Sunday, but teams would probably complain about there not being enough time to rest and get things ready, although they have 2 bikes. So certainly, if there's 2 races on the Sunday this weekend, it would have been very, very dramatic with the way the weather was turning after the race had finished.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sepang is known for its tropical conditions.
Especially at this time of year.
I was just looking at the season stats again. On a website, and the last round, other than Indonesia, other than the Indonesian round, the last race that Alex Rins finished, he won.
Good for having,
and that was Circuit of the Americas. Oh yeah,
Alex Rins, yeah. It would be Circuit of the Americas, because obviously he came back and he didn't feel fit enough, so he was out after that. So yeah, it's been a bit
of an interesting statistic, I thought.
Yeah, not been a good season for him at all. To be honest, right now, do you think I think to be honest, right now he may possibly be able to try and ride, but if there's only 2 rounds left this season, you're still going to be on the LCR Honda. You probably just wait until you could get your hands on a Yamaha, a little bit better, a little bit more rider friendly, and a bit less likely to chuck you off and get you injured. So
did I see some? I don't know if they were old pictures, but I saw some pictures of Crutchlow trying some new things this week. They might have been old pictures.
I don't know, to be honest.
But it had that KTM style wing on the back, and which looked like a lot more aero on the front as well. That they might have been old pictures, but
Yamaha have been playing a bit of aero probably the most this season of all the manufacturers.
So yeah, I don't know if they were old pictures, but yeah, some real radical looking different bits on the bike as well. So maybe some big changes for next season for Yamaha, which they do need because they've been a bit, shall we say, stale this season, shall we say?
Well, they've been a bit stale for a ridiculous amount of years, to be honest. I mean, riders, even back whenever Rossi was still battling for race wins on a Yamaha, there was still complaints about the top speed. Back when Maverick was racing for them, he was complaining about top speed. It's always been something that Yamaha hasn't had with the inline four. Suzuki seemed to have managed to click with the inline four, get a bit more power out of theirs. We all kind of thought with Suzuki stopping MotoGP, if they could have got more people in, got them to help their bike, but that hasn't really helped. So yeah, hopefully Yamaha can find something, because Quartararo is pretty vicious in the media anyway. He's talking about the bike and what he expects from the Japanese manufacturer. So yeah, Lester, you were thinking?
I was thinking out loud. Sorry, carry on. I was just reading some comments. Sorry.
Right.
Carry on.
Oh, share them with us.
I can't yet. I've got to do something first.
All right. Well, yeah, it's been a tough season, and there's also Quartararo this round. He got a fine during, I think it was free practice 2. It would have been on the morning. He got a €1,000 fine.
For taking his helmet off.
Well, taking off undoing his helmet before he was off the bike. So yeah, he undid his helmet strap.
You can't be too sure with what when you say
another weird thing that happened. He didn't quite get a penalty for it, but Jorge Martin got told off for going for a press conference wearing shorts.
Oh yeah. It's always been a rule, it seems, to in the press conferences. Yeah, you have to show up in jeans. But instead, he wore ripped jeans instead.
On the Twitter, if he had refused to do.
Hey, what? I didn't get that.
What?
I said, if he refused to put trousers on, would he have got a long lap penalty if he would have just carried on wearing the shorts in the press conference?
Probably just a fine.
Yeah, you're allowed to do it once, and then
long lap.
Well, that's also what clicked in my head. Next season, last talk about tyres tonight, I promise. Next season, going about to consistency, Lester, that if you break the tyre pressure rule next year, it's an instant disqualification is the rule that's going to be in place. So riders can't really be.
So the news is that they're just going to enforce their own rules.
Yeah, they're going to be enforcing the rules harsher until Michelin finally bring this new tyre that's been promised for God knows how many years in 2025, hopefully.
It's not really news, really. That's just a championship enforcing rules.
Yeah, it is, but that means that we would have had both the championship contenders already disqualified this year if those rules were actually in place this year.
Would have made things a bit interesting.
That's when they were going onto the grid, they were getting checked before they went onto the grid, and if their tyre pressures were too low, they would have to then start that race at the back. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know it's not the same sort of thing. I don't even know why I brought it up, to be honest.
Yeah. For MotoGP, we'd almost see the Michelin person standing next to every single bike and waiting until the mechanics couldn't touch the bike anymore, and testing every single set, because they bring 2 or 3 sets onto the grid. Some of them even just ride around on an old set on the sighting lap and then change it on the grid onto a brand new set. So yeah, it'd be very hard to enforce. But going into this weekend, into Qatar, Jay, 2 rounds remaining. 2 races, 2 sprints, and in total 84 points up for grabs. 74 points up for grabs. Who's going to be champion? Who's the strongest anyway at the moment? Do you think Martins can still take it?
I thought Jorge Martin was going to win probably not win, but I thought I was feeling confident he was going to beat Pecco in the main race at Sepang, and when he was battling with him at the start, probably the most entertaining part of the race, when they were back and forward for a couple of laps. I thought Jorge Martin was going to go past, and probably I thought he was going to come third. I don't think he was going to catch Marquez and Bastianini.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very surprised that once Pecco finally broke him, that he stayed ahead of him. So it's really close at the moment. Jorge Martin is very quick at Qatar. He had I think it was his first ever race round there, and he had a really impressive result, didn't he?
Yeah. He took out. Yeah, he did. I think so.
So yeah, it's going to be tight. Pecco's not going to be slow round there, is he? So I'm going to go Pecco at the moment. I think it's going to still win the championship at the moment. So, and going back to Bastianini, that would have been a massive relief for him, because obviously he was getting a bit questions were starting to fly about, saying, a bit like with the Rory Skinner thing, even though he's going to have that contract, that he was going to get kicked out the team. So that'd be a massive relief for him. And I think he's going to end the season really strong now. So
his first round on the Gresini Ducati, that is, and he went out and won it. And everyone was in complete shock, and it shows how quick he is around there. So, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. Qatar, completely different track to Malaysia as well. And Martin, the last, if I remember correctly, because I was checking it earlier, the last sprint race that wasn't won by Martin would have been the likes of Catalonia when Aleix Espargaro won it. And since then, he's absolutely dominated them. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can do it once again this weekend. And all it takes for this championship to get spicy going into Valencia is the likes of Martin to win the sprint, and for Bagnaia to have an average race in about 4th position. We could see this championship completely flip on its head.
Yeah, up till this round, Pecco's qualifying hasn't been brilliant, has it? He's struggled a bit in qualifying. So,
it's been a bit like that
in the sprint races. And it's very easy to just make a few mistakes in the sprint race and fall out the points, because it only goes down to 9th place. So, and we've been talking previously. Obviously, I've been watching the weather in Spain because I go there this weekend.
You're going out to Spain this weekend?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to Spain this weekend.
Right.
I don't think I've mentioned it, but the weather's not that cold. It's not horrendous.
It's still warm at the moment.
We're still in the 20s.
High 20s some point.
Yeah. So maybe Valencia won't be as cold and horrible as what we were all expecting. So
I wasn't expecting it to not be. I mean, Spain, isn't it?
Well, we have gone some years there, and it's not been. It's been fresh.
2018 comes to mind. It was absolutely pouring at them. The race got red flagged actually.
I remember Scott Reddin's last race in GP.
Yes, it's stripped off on the
red Aprilias. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be as cold as we expected. So Valencia is not. I don't think it's the most entertaining track to finish.
It's not the best track for MotoGP bikes in general. It's great as a spectator to go watch, viewing wise.
Can you imagine it?
It's more of a
Phillip Island was the final round. How great that would be. So it's. I'm going with Pecco at the moment.
I'm probably going to say Martin. Still, I still have faith that Martin. I don't really mind who wins it. I still think it'll be a great.
I have no allegiance to either of them. Really, I think they're both quality riders, and they're both on the best bikes on the grid. But I can't say I've got a favourite out of either of them. If I did, I would probably say slightly more Jorge Martin, but I think Pecco's going to do it.
Still a couple. All it takes though is just one. All it takes for Bagnaia for him to lose championship lead, or for the championship lead to be very close going to Valencia, is for one rider, let's say Joan Zarco, to run wide at one corner in the opening couple laps. He loses 5 or 6 positions, and then suddenly the championship is on going into Valencia. So,
both of these riders have made, uncharacteristic mistakes at some point. Both Pecco and Martin, they've both crashed out while leading this season. So there's no reason to say it wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, the 2 seasons for them as well, it's been split in half. You had Bagnaia dominated the start of the year, had over 60-point gap, and now Jorge Martin dominates the second part of the year and gets the point down to 14 points with 2 rounds remaining. It's going to be fireworks for the final 2 rounds.
Okay. All right. So I am conscious of time. We did start a little bit late today because Lewis overslept.
I got work.
Outrageous he was. Someone did something, I don't remember. We were hoping to have Evan Belford on the show this evening, but don't know if he's stuck doing his homework or something like that. I don't know, but hopefully we'll get him on the show. We might even see him this weekend at the NEC
Motorcycle Live.
At Motorcycle Live. We're hoping to be there, myself and Lewis. And Lewis, there's going to be between now and our next show. There's going to be what's happening in between now and then. I can't quite remember, but there's something.
There's going to be. Yeah, there's going to be Qatar, obviously, MotoGP, Macau Grand Prix for bikes, and as well Motorcycle Live at the NEC with BSB Day on this Sunday, where there's going to be a lot of announcements coming in.
Well, there is that, but I suppose another announcement would be... what?
What?
What are you expecting? I don't know what you're expecting.
I don't know.
Lewis is. I think he's got. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just caught on now. I'm not total in my bike world at the moment.
Okay.
I remembered what else is happening this week.
What else is happening this week, Lewis?
It may or may not be my birthday.
Oh, your birthday!
Happy birthday.
He's 18 years old, Lewis.
Yeah, basically. Grey hair's starting to form, and getting on now in life.
Well, I thought we'd not do a celebration or anything, just keep a nice quiet. But thank you to Rod, who's been on the comments reminding me that it was his birthday. Get well soon as well, Rod. As well, he's in hospital at the moment. Regular listener to the show, but Lewis, you're 18 years old. Can you believe that, Jay? And he actually started with Motorsport Radio when he was 16 years old, I think.
Grand old age of 16, yeah.
Yeah, he started commentating with...
I can't even remember when I was 18 anymore.
Well, okay, yeah.
Were you sober any of it?
Well, yeah. He's not sober now.
Oh, no. I'm on the orange juice tonight. It's fine.
In a Corona bottle, yeah. Right, okay, yeah. So what are you planning then, apart from spending the weekend mooching around the NEC?
Actually, not too much, because I'm stuck in college for the whole day up in Glasgow. But, I've got a meal whenever I come back as well. And then maybe a few pints as well, just to celebrate. Before the weekend at Motorcycle Live, and then before Valencia as well. So, should be good.
Just think, next season, when you're commentating with Fab, you can come up Weatherspoons with all the pit bike lads.
It never stopped him before. I mean, yes, he can do that for the first time.
Legally.
But happy birthday.
Depends what pub.
Yeah, you're keen on your Weatherspoons, aren't you, Jay? Anyway, but...
I love a Weatherspoons. Even, this Corona glass, that was nicked from Weatherspoons.
Oh, it's an actual glass. I thought it was a bottle.
It was just...
Wow, okay, all right.
They let me have it because they knew who I was.
Get out of here, Jay. I'll see you tomorrow. Go on. Right, anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to the Superbike Show. We didn't even manage to talk about the BSB news in detail either, did we? Not in great detail.
There's no point, because they'll put it all out tomorrow for us, and then we can speak about it next week.
At the weekend, who knows? Tommy Bridewell could be signed to Honda this time next week.
Well, probably at the weekend, where we'll probably...
at the NEC.
Probably have a chat to him. So this time next week, we'll probably... Lewis will be on his flight to...
I'll still be in Manchester at that point, but my flight's 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning.
Oh yeah, because you're going to be doing some stuff in Manchester, aren't you? You're spending a day in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm going to have a great day in Manchester.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to maybe watch a film. The Hunger Games coming.
What would a newly 18-year-old do alone in Manchester? Well, whatever you do, don't get arrested doing it. So there you go. And I'll see you at the weekend. So this time next week, we may be pre-recorded doing a special Superbike show from whomever we manage to bump into at the NEC. Whatever happens.
Will you be there, Jay?
No, he's going to Spain this weekend.
Of course. You haven't mentioned that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I should have said it more, shouldn't I? Yeah, I unfortunately won't be there. I was thinking of going the next weekend, but the people I wanted to see don't have a stand there. So, no, I'm not going this year.
Ah. But thank you very much for tuning in. And, Lewis, enjoy your whatever it is you're doing for your celebrations. And... thank you once again for coming on the show. Jay, thank you as well for coming on the show.
Bye-bye.
And yeah, that's it from us on the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio. Happy 18th birthday, Lewis, and enjoy it. And we'll see you next week, maybe. Bye.
Bye.